Half-Life, a retro first-person shooter, is very overrated in my personal opinion. Before we go any further today, thanks and shout out to FreeHacksXD for the request of this review. I honestly don't know where to begin with this title, so I'll start with one of the few positives I have with this game. For a game that came out in '98, it looks great graphics-wise and runs fine on modern hardware. Before I start on my negatives, I would like to say that I feel I'd think higher of the game if I played it at launch, but alas, I didn't touch it until 26 years later. Moving on. The thing that hit me when I started this game was motion. Your character moves at a really fast pace, which can be hard to control, especially in parkour sections, and it took some serious getting used to. Also, ladders are a nightmare to climb. From what I read on Steam reviews, I'm not the only person who struggled on ladders. You pretty much have to look at the dead center of the thing as you move about, or you stand a decent chance of falling off and dying. Yay! My next big problem is the audio, and from what I read from Steam reviews, other players disliked this. You're supposed to learn the story from NPCs talking to you, but the audio system is broken, as background noises almost completely drown out voice lines to the point you can barely make out a single word. I tried messing around with the volume settings without success, and since Half-Life is without subtitles, have fun making out anything being said. Alright, what's next? Weapon glitches. From what I played, Half-Life offers a decent weapon variety, but guns would often just fire themselves, or randomly reload themselves in the middle of a firefight, or sometimes a gun would randomly get reloaded even if it had a full magazine. Moving on to combat, it's okay at best. A meh first-person shooter with a lot of tough and annoying enemies, in addition to a crap ton of traps and environmental hazards. I found the controls odd, clunky, and the mechanics sometimes confusing, especially with the parkour. All this being said, I do understand why this game is held in such a high regard, despite not liking it myself. It was a huge evolutionary jump for shooters, compared to the likes of, say, Medal of Honor or Quake, and I probably would think higher of this if I was born earlier. All this being said, I don't like this game and give it a 5 out of 10 by my grade scale. It's just not something that I personally enjoyed. Well, y'all, that's all for me today. Thanks again to FreeHacksXD for the request, viewership, and support. For those new here, I mostly play, review, and discuss zombie and horror games, so maybe check out some of my other content if that sounds like your cup of tea. Always remember that Jesus loves you all. Peace.